Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Stay the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of Dialing It In with Danny and Don with Doug. And this is our 5th episode. And once again, Doug has joined us to pick all the games and acknowledge before the world that he may or may not have a problem. So, how you guys been? Whoever wants to go first.
Been doing good. Had shoulder surgery, so I'm recovering from that. So if I wave with this hand, it'll need assistance kind of thing. But I have less empty space behind me. As you can see, last time I just moved everything out for the shelf. Now there's a shelf. So it is starting to be filled with games.
Yay. Congratulations.
Progress.
Thank you.
Don, I like that you said that like he had a child or something. You're like, oh, congratulations.
It's an achievement. You congratulate achievements.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
It's arguably just as expensive as a child, what you have back there. It's arguable. All right, how you doing, Danny?
Good. Getting ready for Pack View. Been busy doing that. And then today, when we're filming, it's Extra Life Game Day, so that's something I've been doing today. So yeah, all good. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and so what have you been streaming all day?
I've just been watching other people's streams, so just jumping around Twitch streams of board games and yeah, people hanging out.
How about you, Don?
Yeah.
I'm good. Not too many games piled up that I haven't played yet. Autobahn came the other day. I'm really intrigued by that one. Resurgence came, I think, last week or the week before. That's the new Stan Kordonsky game that I think he self-published for the first time.
Yeah, everyone thought it was just going to be like Crush, and it like just limped over the line, right?
I think so. The campaign was a little while ago, so I don't remember exactly how it ended, but it looks like a nice production. It looks like an interesting game. I haven't really cracked it yet, but and then something is coming today, and I don't know what it is. Ooh. So that's always exciting. Kickstarter Christmas.
For me, haven't been playing as many games lately. We're into the grading period at school, so it's just constant stuff. I did play, as I was telling you guys earlier, I was at school all day yesterday. I had about an hour where, just long enough to where I could have driven home, but then between going there and back, I'd be home for like half an hour, and that's lame. So I played this prototype of a game called World Stitchers, which is from the same guy who did Heroes of Tennefer. It's this kind of tile laying game with like weird critters running around. I don't know what I think about it yet. That's about all I've done lately, other than play a million BGA games with Don, and he keeps beating me.
Well, Tennefer is great, so I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, well, it's nothing like Tennefer. It's not. It's a totally new beast. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like if you went from Backyard Chickens to Kingdom Death Monster.
Okay, that's a jump.
Yeah, and though you should
totally
the chicken beast.
Chickens.
Oh, see, it writes itself. Yeah, Doug's already backed it all in.
We'll get right on it for you, Doug.
All right,
outstanding.
Let's actually get started here. So. All right, so our very first one we're talking about, this is an expansion that's on Kickstarter. It's called Mosaic Wars and Disasters Expansion Plus Premium Colossus Edition, which, for those of you that only back games that are doing well, this is for you. It's got 5 days ago as of the recording of this, so it'll probably have like 3 days ago when we release it, but it's already at just about $500,000 with 4,800 backers or so. And I personally don't know much about Mosaic. I actually had the prototype of the first one. Alice Radcliffe sent it to me. So you have to try it. And we got here. And I was actually filming a Boards and Brews with Mark Dainty when it showed up, like a huge thing. So I had to I had to sign for it. So I got it. And it's this huge box. And we stopped. Like, what is this thing? We opened it. Like, oh my God, this is huge. And each player board is like this big. And wow. I just said, I can't do this. And I put it back in the box and I closed it and it sat in the corner of my room. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And I never got to it. I never tried it. It scared me and intimidated me. But Doug, why'd you pick this one? And then we'll let our 2 stars tell us about it.
Yeah. So this one is little bit of history. I love civ building games, video games, Sid Meier's Civilization, Age of Empires. And I've always been trying to find that feel in a board game. And so I've tried a bunch of different civ building games. And to me, Mosaic is the first one that kind of brought that feeling through. And they do have two different versions. They've got the retail version, and they've got the one that you're talking about, which is the Colossus edition. And if you can probably see it sitting in the floor over there, it will not fit in a calyx square in any possible way. And like I said, I just had shoulder surgery, and I got it like 2 days after the shoulder surgery, and I was not even able to lift it. The shipping weight is 27 pounds, if that tells you anything. But I did get to play this at Origins. It's a 6-player game. It definitely is a civ building game. So every turn you can do one of a few things to try to build your country. So you play an asymmetric leader with certain abilities and kind of a strategy that it leans toward. But every round you can either work for supplies, you can increase your population, you can build cities, towns, or wonders. You can increase your technology, you can tax or tariff your people to gain money. You can recruit military, or you can even create a government.
So you can make your people really unhappy, like all of those things.
Yes.
Can you draft them?
Especially the taxing. Well, you can draft them into the military, so you can.
And then you can tax their wages while they're in the military.
Exactly. You pay them, and then you tax them on the pay. But so it definitely is a kind of an open sandbox. You have this huge map. You have areas that you're trying to control, countries you're trying to control. And again, it definitely feels like a civilization builder, and it also doesn't take 12 hours to play. You can get in a good game in about 2 hours with a full load of folks. So it moves pretty fast.
Doug, how many games do you have that take 12 hours to play, though?
I don't have any that take 12 hours to play.
Do you have Twilight Imperium?
No, I played a game of Twilight Imperium, and it lasted 14 hours, and I was like, that's not going into my collection. So I usually aim for about 2 to 3 hours as my.
So everyone, we have found the limit for Doug. If you don't want him to back, if your game has a 12-hour playtime, don't send him the campaign. He's out.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to send you and say, well, actually, we're 9 hours and 45 minutes. So
I'll give it a shot, and we'll see what it does. But this one is definitely one that you can get a good group of people together on a game night, play it, and feel good about it. One thing to note is they are saying this campaign is the last time you can get the Colossus edition. And when I say Colossus, the reason it's so massive is they upgraded everything you can possibly upgrade. The base game has little wooden, not meeples, but pawns for the military, and they upgraded those to all miniatures instead of having cardboard chits for all the pieces on the board. Everything is a miniature: the towns, the wonders, the cities. The coins have been upgraded to metal coins. So everything you could possibly get deluxe is deluxe in that edition.
But you didn't get that one, right?
Right there. The one I can't pick up currently. So it is available during this campaign. And of course, let's talk a little bit about the expansion. The expansion adds wars and disasters. So the disasters are pretty straightforward, random events that happen and they cause issues for all the different countries. And then the wars allow you to create national militaries. So rather than just military units that are trying to occupy, you can actually create full-blown armies. And it adds a new leader and a bunch of new technology cards and wonders and towns and units. So it is definitely a very nice expansion. But the main thing to point out is, again, last time Colossus Edition will be available.
The last time until the next time that they do a campaign.
That's what they're saying. They're saying this will be the last campaign that they do it.
Next one that they're
just expensive to produce.
Yeah, they're just going to call it like the Mega Colossus Edition next time. Is what we said.
Well, then I got to get it again.
All right. All right. Let's who looks more excited? Danny, I think you look more excited about this.
All right. Okay, so first being an expansion, but I haven't ever played the base game, so I'm gonna first just talk about it as a game. I can't get the expansion if I don't have the game. So my whole like backing would be like $129, which seems a little bit high for never playing the game. So I'd love to play it in like at a con or something. I like that it's a Civ builder. I don't know if I have like a ton of experience with Civ builders, but I have played some and I've enjoyed them. And it seems like there's a lot of other mechanics in it, so there's lots of things going on. I like that there's a lot of strategy involved and a variety of player actions like on your turn. There's so many things that you can do, it sounds like. So those are my thoughts.
All right, Don, take it away. Now, because
Yeah,
Don, I know for a fact that Don has cleared out a bunch of games lately, so he does have space for it.
Technically, I have space on the shelf. A lot of those games are still in a box in the corner that didn't sell at the last flea market. Danny, you didn't mention that this goes all the way to $279. I'm not sure why that's not the one you're considering.
Yes, so sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't back this the first time, and I frankly don't remember what my thought process was at the time. I think probably it seemed a little expensive. I do love Civ building games, computer games, and I also haven't played a board game that gives the same feel. I haven't really been on the lookout for it. This looks like a great production. I have to say, like, my backing decisions are largely around, is this going to get to the table really often these days? I think a couple of years ago, I probably would have bought this immediately. But this one, it seems like a big investment for something that I'm not sure I'm going to play a whole lot. And I'm not a consistent enough solo player to get this just to play by myself.
Boy, someone's and Alexa's really going to town for somebody.
Yeah, I don't know why she started. She
You
reacted
just-
to something I said.
She reacted to you saying $279. She's like, hold up. Well, she's still going.
She's still going.
He's trying to add it to his cart.
Let me
for
go
him.
turn
She's
that
like,
off,
I can
sorry.
back that for you right now if you'd like.
Would you like me to send one to Danny as well?
Yeah, and
All right.
the
There we go. Sorry about
$279
that.
price tag for an all-in for the Colossus is definitely larger than most
Started
people
playing
like, but
music.
it is
Okay, go ahead.
That,
Sorry,
just so you know,
Doug.
Don, that is staying in.
Absolutely.
it has to, yeah.
I
And
had to
it
kill
reminded me
Alexa.
to unplug my Alexa because
I like that we all
can't
just
believe-
tried to pretend like we didn't hear it until it kept going and going.
It's
Now,
like-
the one thing that is particular that I think is interesting, I actually jotted down, I was looking through it, that if you the base game, and I think also the Colossus, I'm not sure, but you can get that now. Like they will split
Mhm.
shipping,
Yes.
ship it to you right now, and then
That's nice.
wait 37 years for the expansion to show up. So that
Yeah.
that's
is
it.
nice.
I have not seen that many times before.
No, not at all. And I did forget to mention that while they have it in stock, the core and the colossal will ship immediately. So you can get the game and be playing while you're waiting for the expansion to come out.
Yeah, and I've done that. The poor man style before. I'm like, oh, well, I could get everything now, or I could just go on Amazon and buy the game or something. So I've done that a couple times, and once it was bad because I backed the game and then the other one showed up just after the campaign closed. I played. I was like, oh, this isn't good. What have I done? So then I had a whole 16 months of waiting to be disappointed, which was beautiful.
Bummer.
All right, but Danny, have we convinced you to go all in with split shipping right now? What's the verdict?
I think that's a really good option. I like if a game's out, that would be great to like get it right away. But I would love to play this at a convention, but I'm not gonna back it today. Just the total price tag is a little too high just for my budget and everything. But like I said, it sounds great and I'd love to try it sometime. I like a lot of the features of it. I just haven't played it before.
Maybe Doug will be healed enough to bring it to PAX, and no clothes and no
Yeah.
anything, just that.
I'll get a little cart and pull it behind me.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, Don. What's the verdict? I think we know.
I'm in the same place. This is an investment. This to me needs to be a lifestyle game, but It does look like a beautiful production, and I have to say it's a really great, well-organized Kickstarter page. I always appreciate that. You know, all the information is right where it should be. But I'm not at a place where I want to make this investment right now.
So, Doug, if you would bring that to KublaCon,
There you go.
also, that would be great.
I'd have to pay shipping to get it to KublaCon.
Well, that sounds like your problem. This is so Don can play this game.
There you go. Just change your delivery address to my house, and I'll.
Oh, there you go.
We'll take
Nice.
care of it for you.
Yeah, it just makes sure you add a colossal to that also that has split shipping, and he'll hold
It
it for
ships
you.
right now.
There you go.
Because you want to want to have one on each coast for wherever
Exactly.
you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry it.
Wherever you go, it will be.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a riveting conversation by us for everyone watching. All right. So let's move into the next one. The next one, no, this one I know literally nothing about. So just a reminder for everybody that the beauty about this is I just get to show up and let the experts talk here. So I know nothing about this Life of the Amazonia. I haven't even looked at the page yet. That is how good of a host I am here. And we have 5 days left. Life of the Amazonia. Build your very own thriving jungle by discovering various wild animals, insects, and plants in this beautiful board game. And it's at $120,000 almost with 1,500 backers. And there'll be about 3 days left to go by the time this posts. And I got to say, I respect the chutzpah that they have, that they told me at the top this board game is beautiful. I don't even have to look at it because they told me it is beautiful. So before that, you guys have all looked at it. Is it beautiful?
It is
It really
beautiful.
is.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so no lie. I was hoping one of you would be like, no, it's terrible, but fine. All right, Doug, why'd you pick this one? Because it's beautiful?
Yeah, it is gorgeous, I will say, especially if you do get the all-in package with all the upgrades, which is only $129 for this one, which I think is actually a pretty good deal if you look at all the amount of screen printed meeples that come with this. There's just a huge amount. But this is by Bad Comet, and they are the same ones that did Wild Serengeti, which they've now switched the name to Life of the Serengeti. So they're trying to do a series of this. It's a 1 to 4 player competitive game. And what drew me to this, I originally was like, oh, this is going to be another gateway game. You know, this is going to be one of those simple to play, gorgeous looking games that they're just trying to get to the table because it looks pretty. Not at all. This is a very medium weight, maybe a little bit heavier than medium weight strategy game. And if you've played Cascadia is my favorite gateway game. I love it. It's just you draw an animal, you draw a tile, you place it, you build patterns, and you score. And it's very easy to teach, very easy to play, very easy for someone who's getting into it to learn. This is the next step up. This is where you take that exact kind of thing and you turn it into a medium weight strategy game. So it is a tile lane, but it's a bag building game as well. And if you're not familiar with that, that's very similar to deck building. So you have a bag of resources. Every player starts with 4 different types of resources. You've got food, water, coin, and leaves. And every bag is the same, and it has resources from 1 to 4 of each type. And you draw them each round, just like you would a deck building game. But the game will allow you to add better resources and different types of resources. You can purchase those during the game as one of your turns. And you can also eliminate resources from your bag, just like you would a deck building game. So you're trying to make your bag of resources match your strategy and what you're looking for. And every round, players can take one of several different actions. They can purchase resource tokens, like I was just talking about. They can purchase tiles, which is called area restoration, because what you're trying to do is you're a conservation organization trying to not refurbish, but
Revitalize.
Revitalize.
Store.
Yes, you're trying to revitalize an area of the Amazon jungle. So you can purchase tiles to place in your jungle area. You can purchase trees and water flowers to put in your area. You can place animals. You can build storage for your
Board games.
resources. You can do I wish. You can obtain nature cards, and you can purchase bonuses, which bonuses allow you to do a couple of different things. And you can do as many actions as you have the resources or money to do. So you just keep building. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to match up and build sanctuaries for your animals. And each animal requires something different. So you really have to build the area for the animals. And there are unique animals, which there's only one in each game, one of each of that animal in the game. And there are basic animals, which you could have 4 or 5 that you can purchase to put in your area. And like I said, each animal needs something to score. Like if you're putting a woodpecker in your area, it needs a tree by it. Otherwise, you don't score points for it. If you're looking for, I think the frogs require aquatic flowers to make them happy. You know, I think it's the jaguar has to be beside of multiple animals because it's a predator. It has to feed. So you really have to pay attention to what areas you're building, what you're putting in those areas. And it is gorgeous. The screen printed meeples, the 3D trees and flowers, the resource tracks that you follow that track how much everything costs.
Doug, you are burying the lead. That waterfall thing.
The waterfall is amazing.
I like the waterfall thing too.
And you know, I'm so angry because I was like, yeah, beautiful game. You don't tell me what I think is beautiful. Yeah, it's really, really freaking cool.
Yeah, the game itself is a really good medium weight strategy game. And then it's gorgeous. So that's what a lot of times you see games like this and they haven't thought it through, and it's very basic and it's a very simple game. And they just make everything look good in hopes that they can sell it. This one is a really good strategy game that takes thought and planning, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's how I used to be described in college. Really good, medium weight, and gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so before you can believe that, right, Don? Right, Danny?
Absolutely.
There we go.
I tried to bite my tongue on that one.
How dare you? What I will say, the one thing I want to point out before I turn it over to Don first is, and I wish more games would do this. I love, and it's probably not going to wind up being this way, but it has the little GIF that shows you how you're going to put this thing away.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
No, I look, you have stuff in bags that are rolled up there and there they go in. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm sure you have to have those bags rolled up with the meeples in there in the exact right orientation to make it work. But I love that that's a thing. All right, Don, hit us. What do you think?
I do want that little animation to be on a screen at the bottom of the box so that I can see it every time I have to pack.
Oh, and it just had a little LED screen or whatever in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, that's cheap, easy ad.
Yeah, that's deluxe.
Easy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by this game. I love a good bag builder. Love Orleans. Love what is the other one? I just looked at it. So I can
Solar 175.
Sorry, Altiplano. And then you've got Quacks of Quedlinburg. That's another bag builder, different type. Less strategy, more push your luck. But just kind of building that content in your bag and drawing, and like you said, it's like a deck builder, kind of a different feel. When it's very tactile, like this can be, if you get the deluxe components, that's just a bonus. I have the geek up bits for Altiplano and for Quacks of Quedlinburg, so you've got those cool little acrylic tiles in there. It just adds to the fun of the game. And so I really like the look of the deluxe production here. And Doug mentioned the $129 pledge level. There's also a $99 pledge level if you don't need your waterfall to be wooden. There's a wooden version of the waterfall that doesn't fit in the box. So it's like if you get the wooden tree for Everdell, you have to display it on your shelf somewhere. Is
there a water version?
That's a good idea. We'll have to reach out to
Like
them
a
and suggest
fountain.
Yeah.
I'm a little unclear on the waterfall. Is it just the scoreboard or does it have some gameplay functionality? I couldn't tell.
So it tracks the actual game tracks. So every time you buy a tree or a plot of land or a flower or a card, you move up each track. So there's 4 different tracks. And as you move down the track, some of them have bonuses, but they also change the cost. So your first tree is much less expensive than your fifth tree, for instance.
Okay.
So you have to kind of plan out where you're doing and when you're doing it.
Yeah. And well,
Cool.
while we're asking a question, but I'm curious. The bag builder. Well, all those
Mhm.
meeples are different shape. Is there?
The bag is for the circular, the round components,
Yeah.
The
the
resources.
resource
I
chips.
see.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're pulling out resources and then you use those to do to take actions. The animal meeples go on your board or on your map, your tiles.
Correct.
So that's good. I'm glad to hear that the waterfall is more game functionality. I couldn't tell for sure and I didn't dig deep enough to find out, I guess. So I'm really intrigued by this one. It is gorgeous.
And it will fit, the wooden will fit in the box. You just have to disassemble it.
Oh, okay. Just more than the cardboard version. Got it. Okay.
All right, Danny. What are you thinking?
Okay. So it's funny that you mentioned that it reminds you of Cascadia because that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw it. Obviously, like the shapes, but also the varying ways to score is very similar, but it's a next step, like you said. Like I love Cascadia, love that game so much. So this would be a next step, and I really like that. And it adds new things as well, and the display is really, really pretty. I also like that the waterfall disassembles because sometimes I found that like if a cardboard something is still assembled left in the box, it I don't know, doesn't last. At least maybe that's just me. But I like how it folds and then just like stays protected, I guess, in the box. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right. So
Yeah, and they stuck the theme too. I mean, they really, even
Yeah.
to the point where your discard pile is a little Amazon boat. So
Yeah.
like you throw your discarded resources that you use into a little boat, and then when you're finished and your bag is empty, you take the boat and it slides everything back into your bag for you. I thought they
Yep.
just did a really nice production job of all the different little.
okay, Don, what's your verdict?
I'm at Remind Me on this one, mostly because it is competing with some other projects. So I can't back everything, but I'm super intrigued by this one. I just haven't decided yet.
Danny?
I have hit Remind Me as well. So very interested, but
Well-
not ready to hit purchase.
So I am slightly ahead of these two cards
Oh,
because I am hitting Remind Me, and I've made a note that as soon as we're done, I'm going
A
to
note.
download the rule book and take a
Mm.
look and see if it's something that my wife will like, because
yes.
it's pretty, and I don't
Yeah.
usually care about necessarily being pretty, but every now and then something like Flamecraft here, that's pretty. That one grabs you, and this one looks really, really pretty too. And it sounds a bit beefier than what I've heard Wild Serengeti is. So I was, when you said that at the beginning, I was like, oh, one of those. I'm out. But now I'm a little bit back in, so we'll see. And clearly, Doug, you got the wooden all in, I assume, yes?
Yes.
One of these days, he's gonna be like, no, I just got the core. Like it'll happen.
Well,
Yeah.
and we will be shocked.
the
when
world
that day comes
the world stops.
because
And I have to say that, and I meant to do this earlier, everyone we talked about in the last video, their campaigns were successful. They funded. So
yay, that's awesome.
yay.
We did it.
Woohoo!
We did.
It
It wasn't all just me.
well, I'm very happy to say so. In Lunar Rush, one of the best moments was we're going through and there was I don't know, one of the earlier stretch goals, which was one of the better ones. There was a couple in there that, from my perspective, I was like, oh, this is a really good one. There was the screen printed meeples, and then the screen printed resources. I thought those are the two I was like super excited. And then one of the social stretch goals to get the extra AI cards in there because I like solo. But Doug, at one point, part of it, I don't know. I think you were trying to be supportive. Part of it was you wanted that stretch goal. Doug went and added a couple more games to his pledge, and I was like, some people are gonna be unhappy they don't have this. I want to be able to sell it to them. And I have this lovely image of Doug like walking around the conventions in a big old trench coat. And he's like, hey, you want some Lunar Rush? I got my Lunar Rush right here. Oh, you want some Mosaic? I got my Mosaic right. Just walking around. But it was a great moment because it pushed us over the edge, which was great. And then now I know Doug is a pusher, which is even better.
That's awesome.
Hey, I don't know how many people I've shown games like this before. Once I got them, they're like, "Hey, I want a copy of that." And with Lunar Rush, I can provide that
Yeah, he'll be
There
like,
you
at a
go.
very decent price.
he said, well, first you have to come and put together this other Kalax for me.
There you go.
And put all the games on the shelf as well.
In alphabetical order by designer's middle name, please.
Of course. Is there any other way?
Well, no, I mean that's closest to what I have.
Clearly how yours is organized.
Yeah. All right. So the next one. I might have to stop doing this show if it keeps making me buy stuff. All right. Next one is, now this one I know a little bit about. And now Doug's going to take credit for this. But the next one is Tesseract, a cooperative dice manipulation game, which is from Smirk and Dagger. It's closing on 1,000 backers. Again, it's going to have about 3-4 days to go once this posts, and it's at just about $60,000 of a $5,000 goal, which I'm sure wasn't the real goal. And I will say that this is one that I'd already backed before Doug sent us the list. So I was in the
You're
know.
ahead of all of us.
I was in the know on this one. And I wound up backing this after I watched the video that Michael Kelly from One Stop Co-op Shop posted. And I know Kurt from Smirk and Dagger a little bit. He's just so nice. Every time he has something that comes up, I at least go look at it. But so this one I'm already in on. So I'm in the know. But Doug, let everyone else be in the know.
Yes, but are you all in on this?
No, I am not all in. This is
What is-
ridiculous. I'll talk to you more about that when we get there. I am not a
All right.
ridiculous human.
So Tesseract is a 1 to 4 player cooperative dice manipulation game. And basically the story behind it is that we're minding our own business on the planet, and this huge cube comes in from outer space and goes into orbit around the planet, and it starts to land. And as it lands, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until when it comes and lands on the planet, you can actually hold it in your hand. But what happens is the scientists realize that it's building power and it's going to explode and destroy the planet. So what we have to do, I know it's like it's happened so much to our planet. It's surprised we're even here. But what we have to do as scientists is we each have our own lab, and we have to neutralize all the cubes before it explodes. And there's 2 ways to do that. And the first way is you have to actually move them into your lab, and then you have to actually move them into a containment area to keep them from breaching. And once the containment area is completely full, and that is basically 1 die of every number and every color fills the containment area. So you have to do that before the Tesseract breaches 7 times or runs out of dice. If it runs out of dice or breaches 7 times, then the game is over. And basically you just take actions, and you can take a die off of the Tesseract around if it's showing 3 faces. So if it's showing 2 faces, it's still blocked and you can't get it out. So it has to be showing 3 faces. You move it to your containment area or to your lab, and you have to build either runs or sets. And the set is 3 of the same color, same number. And once you do that, you can move 1 of them to the containment area. Or you can do runs, which is 3 numbers in a row, all different colors. And as soon as you do that, then that round you can move 1 to the containment area. And you can only move 1 per round. And then you go through different actions where the Tesseract can cause things to happen. They can cause breaches. And there's just different actions that you take every round that will determine if there's a breach or not. And you can manipulate the dice, like you can get during your turn, you can do you can like move the dice up 1 number or down 1 number. You can take a die from another player. You can give another player 1 of your die, but you definitely have to work together. This is a communication game, because it's not easy. It's difficult to have this happen. And for those that don't know, I do collect 2 things: games and dice. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is nice. And for the all-in edition, which they had not actually planned on, but their demo game at the convention had metal dice to kind of show off the dice. And everyone asked for metal dice. And they were like, well, no, they're plastic. The game comes with plastic dice. And they were like, no, we need the metal. So they have a full 64 die set of metal dice for the game.
Which
So that's what the all-in
more than doubles the price
it absolutely does.
of the game. And
the standard is $50. The all-in is $130.
Yeah, and heavy. So
And
heavy. Like
Would be
ridiculously
I didn't look
heavy.
at the shipping on that.
Yeah. So the only thing that I'll add that Doug left out is one of the fun production things is you stack this thing of dice up on the little tray, and it's a little lazy Susan, and it just spins around so everyone can easily kind of
Yes.
see what you're looking at. All right, Danny, you're first. You're up. Tell me that you've already gotten all those metal dice.
I haven't gotten the metal dice, but I really liked this game. Now, Smirk and Dagger, Smirk and Laughter are also great, so that's awesome. I saw this on Danny Sandring's TikTok, so quick shout out to Danny. It looked great. As soon as she started talking about it, I was like, ooh, I'm very interested. Now, the only thing that I'm hesitating on is in my household, we never play co-op games because my husband doesn't like them. I like them, but we usually don't have a lot of co-op games.
Time to
so-
become a solo gamer, Danny.
I know, right? But yeah, so that's the only thing, but that's just because that's our house and that's what games we play. But I guess I can get it in case other people come over. But yeah, it looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. How do you stack the dice? I was just thinking about that. I didn't think about it when I was looking at the page earlier. Does anyone know how you stack them?
They have a little sleeve that you set on top of the Lazy Susan.
Oh,
and you
thank
just
goodness! I've
Okay.
always wanted to
pour the
sleeve my
dice
dice.
in.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted
Oh, okay.
to sleeve my dice. Sleeve my
So
dice.
it does
I
take a little
points.
bit of coordination because you got to make sure you fill a row at a time. But yeah, you just kind of dump them in a little bit at a time, and then when you
Yeah.
lift the sleeve, you've got the hue.
But I think it'd be great. It's like it looks like a lot of strategy, and like when you choose your dice, you got to think about it because you can only do so many actions in order to actually neutralize them. So I really like it. Those are my thoughts.
Don.
I am super excited about the Lazy Susan. Anything mechanical like that, really impresses me in a game. Like I built a Lazy Susan just for playing Sushi Go because you're constantly passing stuff. So I use it for other things, but I built it with that in mind.
I've known Don for
sorry,
years.
not Sushi Go, Sushi Roll. That's an
Oh,
important
okay.
difference.
Okay, I was just I've never played Sushi Go with Don, nor have I seen this Lazy Susan. No, we did use it
You've
one
seen
time.
it.
What did we?
Yes.
I don't know. We used it for one thing, and he gave me the story. I was like, "You."
Oh, it was the West Kingdom game, Viscounts of the West Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Has a round board, and you're constantly moving to different parts of it. So and it's actually happens to be exactly the same size as the board almost. So anyway, I really excited about that part. There's some mild pandemic vibes with this game where you have the different specialties for the different players. I'm excited about that. And the dice are very cool. The metal dice are extremely cool. Not going there, but I don't know. I'm really impressed by this one. I like a good puzzle. I like
Yeah.
the simplicity of the actions. It looks like it would go really quickly. It's not going to be prone to AP, I don't think. And we do like co-op games around here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
very
As does my wife. And, I'm always on the lookout for ones that it's a pandemic style game, right? You're all putting out the fires
Yeah.
until you can solve the thing. And I'm always on the lookout for one that has kind of interesting theme and is cool. And so I love the loop. It's one of my favorite. My wife didn't like it as much. I have from also Smirk and Dagger sitting on my shelf. I haven't gotten it through its paces. I had the spill, which
That's a good one.
whichever was it.
I
But
like that.
my concern with that one is that the theme's kind of a bummer. Like I'm gonna feel
Yeah.
bad. Like when you lose, you feel bad. Like
yeah.
Well, you got to
You just-
win.
you just let all those animals die. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
this one I feel like I could play with less of a moral crisis. as I go through. Like, I'll blow up the earth. I get no problem with that. But letting the animals die because they're covered
Wow.
in oil, like, wow.
Yeah,
But
somehow that
some of
sounds
those
worse
animals
than
are
losing
on the
Kenny.
planet.
Yeah, shh.
So we'll only
Okay.
think about part of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Danny, what's your verdict?
Okay, I've hit remind me, and I need to talk to my husband. I need to convince my husband that this is a great addition to our game shelf because I'm really excited about it. I really liked it, so we'll see.
Well, Christmas is coming up.
This is true.
I mean, not that
You
you'll
need to get
have it for
yourself
this
a present.
Christmas, but it could be a nice present for you in
Yes,
3
future,
Christmases.
future, next year.
All right, Don.
I switched from remind me to back while we were talking here, so
Ooh,
Ooh.
I
Nice.
think I need this one.
live. Well, kind of.
Yeah, live-ish. And if I were to get a big check between now and a closing, I would probably get those metal dice. I'm not, but if I did, I would, because I even emailed Kurt and I was like, you almost got me those metal dice. Get out of here with that. He's like, people said they wanted it, and apparently they do, because a lot of I'm not looking at it right now, but I don't know how many people have the deluxe copy. Let's see.
I looked. It's like 150 people, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's 449
200.
people on the regular, and the deluxe has another 260. So yeah, that's over half the people.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Um,
They did it though.
now my
They
Alexa is
listened to
going. My Alexa is
people.
telling me about the number 260.
Wow, that's so nice and
Yeah, and-
helpful.
And it referenced Wikipedia to tell me about the number 260.
Excellent.
They had
So-
enough people back the metal dice that they took the Lazy Susan and did a second side so you could flip it over for the colors of the metallic dice. So the colors are a little bit off on the regular dice
Yeah.
because they couldn't use the metallic paint for like orange, so they switched to red. So the Lazy Susan now has 2 sides, one for the regular dice and one for the metallic dice.
That's
So then,
super
question:
thoughtful.
are the player boards also matching the?
I saw something
metal
saying that they
dice?
weren't doing that. Something about like putting the foil, because you'd have to put like
Correct.
the foil on there. So something about that making
Oh,
it
but I
hard
guess-
to read. Something like that.
Oh, maybe it's a stretch goal though. Like the
containment
Yeah,
area?
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that matches. Okay, they will have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know. I like the vibrant colors of the regular dice. I guess.
Yeah, I do too, and I do like that
I
it
like
tells
that.
us right here, sexy dice, because you demanded it.
Hmm.
I know. I mean, the metal dice are cool, and it's cool that they listened to what the people wanted.
It's
Yep, it was a direct
Yeah.
request from the backers, so
It's awesome.
that's
It's great.
all right. So we have 2 backs, 1 probably gonna
We need to
back,
do a little convincing.
and then the classic Doug has 37 copies all in.
gotta
All
have the
right.
extra dice.
You got extra dice too?
No, I wish
There's
they
extra
did,
dice.
but no, there's not.
Wait. Oh, I was like, what?
All right. To the next one. First one that only one today we have on GameFound. This is Tabriz by Crafty Games. The next game from the award-winning designer of Cascadia, a meeple moving game of careful
Callback.
planning and quick action in a bustling Persian bazaar. And they'll have probably 2 weeks left to go after when this actually posts. They are at about $120,000 with about 1,500 backers. And all right, Doug, tell me about this. Why'd you do this to yourself?
Yeah, and this one, the reason I checked it out was exactly that. It's by the designer of Cascadia, which again is my favorite gateway game. And this one, to me, is a gateway game as well. It is a very easy to learn. You only have a few things that you have to figure out each round, but it's a worker placement resource management game. It's competitive for 1 to 5 players, and basically you're in the Persian market and you're making rugs. You're a rug manufacturer, in the luxurious carpet industry, and you're basically sending you're trying to fulfill commissions, and you do that by sending out your assistant meeples to the market to buy resources. And the cool thing about the market and your assistants is you don't pull them back. They stay in the market the whole game, and they're moving around, and they have a limited movement. So you do have to make sure that you're kind of planning out what you need. There is a market, there's one market spot on the board that you can always go to get new commissions. But other than that, you can only move 3 times, and you have to move around the board to get your resources. And the market fluctuates. So each of your different resource stalls or stores where you can go and buy resources, it will fluctuate according to how many resources it has and what's available. So some of the little market stalls, you'll roll a dice when you get there, and it'll determine what of the available options you can choose. Some of them will have 2 different resources that you can pick one or the other. Some of them have alternating resources. So for instance, it might have a yellow, blue. And if you need 2 blue, you've got to buy 3 resources because you got to buy that yellow in the middle. And each round, the market stalls will refill with resources. And it has a pretty cool mechanic that if it overfills, the resources sell out and they're not available for the next round. So depending on what you need, because you can only fulfill 1 commission per round. So you have to be really careful, and you want to build up your skills so that you can get the higher level commissions and make more prestige points, which is how you win your victory. It does take some strategy. It's just not one of those that takes a very long time to teach. You're getting resources. You're making carpets or rugs in the Persian market. I saw a few people compared it to being a little bit smoother, but about the same play as Istanbul. So I think this is a great game. It's a light game that you can get folks into, let them feel a little bit of the strategy, let them learn what a worker placement resource management game is to see if it fits them. And it's fairly quick. It's 30 minutes to an hour. So that's one of the reasons I've picked it. I'm a very much heavy strategy gamer. I like the big games, the heavy 3-hour strategy games. But I have a bunch of friends that aren't into that. So I try to aim and blend the smaller games into my collection as well. And I think this would be perfect for them.
Anybody else hear the air quotes around a bunch of friends that aren't into that? Like, it's not, he puts up with them. So one thing I will point out that I checked. So Crafty Games also did Buru, which I'm still waiting for, which I thought was a delightful, very light, quick, kind of blind bidding game. It's been a while since I played it, but which is very cool. I backed that, and I covered that one. And during the game, one of the things I asked, because this is about Buru, is about a city in Indonesia, or I can't remember, something like that. And I asked, I said, okay, so what's up culturally with this? And they had, the artist is from the area, and they spent a lot of time with that. And as I was scrolling through, I saw they've very prominently put out the cultural consultant they have in this, because, we're talking about a specific region. And I'm also going to say, as we're talking about the Persian rugs, I'm going to move this. I actually have on my wall a rug that I got to get in the souk or the bazaar in Abu Dhabi. So it's very cool. I got it right there. Ooh, this is a game about my wall.
Excellent.
But I don't think it's really about my wall. Boy, that would be a game that would sell so well. Here's a game about Hungry Gamer's wall. Oh my gosh. Everyone get it. All right.
Fascinating.
Right? All right. Who's first this time?
I think it's me.
I think Don is up.
Back to Don. Okay, Don. Drop some knowledge on us.
Yeah, so funny story. I was watching the video for this one and thinking, this doesn't seem very original. I swear I've played a game exactly like this. And it was a full 5 minutes before it clicked that I play tested this game 3 years ago. And I was totally being critical in my mind. I've played games exactly like this, and it's because I've played this game.
This game.
So
Excellent.
Yeah, so that was in 2019. You'll see also prominent on the page is Brieger Creative did the development on this and designed the solo. John Brieger and Michael Dunsmore, I think, specifically worked on this game. They
Yep.
are Bay Area folks. They go to all the same conventions that Will and I do, so we get to play test a lot of the stuff they work on, like the role player games, cartographers. There are certain companies that hire them for every game, so we get to see a lot of cool stuff early. And this one, I guess, was in development 3 years ago and has just taken a while to get to the front of the queue for production and the campaign launching. But I have, some vague recollections of the game. I remember it being very competitive in a good way. I remember there was a lot of tension to the race that Doug was talking about and the optimization of moving around the map and getting your resources and getting to the market. The production looks very, very good. I'm kind of excited about this one, and my memories of playing it are good once they finally came back.
Yeah. And you mentioned the solo. One of the things that because I do a lot of my Euro games solo, a lot of them, and it talked about the solo is specific. It's a dice driven, which that's going to turn some people off. But I particularly like that because I like my AIs that I'm playing against to have some unpredictability to them, because people have unpredictability to them. And so for me, that's a huge bonus. Now, it of course does mean that it's possible that you have a game with AI just is trash or is just really, really good. But, that's, go play a game at Don's house and you never know what you're going to get. You're going to get the Don that just wipes the floor with you, or you're going to get the Don that you lap. You never know. But, so it feels really good to me. So I'm a big fan of that kind of thing.
He's not lying about that.
No, I'm really not. Like, I'm going up to play games with Don tomorrow, and I feel like I'm either going to smash him or just leave weeping. Like, that's how it goes.
Those are the only choices.
Yeah, unless we're playing Andromeda's Edge, in which case we fight for last. That's what we do.
That's right.
But that aside, okay, Danny, what do you think?
I think it was great. Also, one of the videos on the page was super helpful for me, like really easy to follow along. And I was like, oh, I love this. This is great. So I liked how there's resource management, which I love resource management. I like how it's a gateway game. Again, like we play heavier games, but we have a lot of friends that come over and they want to play board games because they see this and they're like, what? Like, can you teach us something? So it's always great to have gateway games around. And then let's see, I really liked the difference in shops that you can go to. Like, it looks like almost everyone is different in some way. Like, you can either pay like 1 coin for this thing, or you have like different ways to buy different things. I just liked all the variability of it and how it can just change the game, it sounds like. So I really liked it. And Crafty Games is great. So that's awesome.
All right. So, Don, verdict?
I am backing this. I have good memories of playing this game the one time I played it. The production looks great. I have a lot of faith in games developed by Brieger Creative. They do a good job. They really kind of get all the kinks out. So, yeah, I backed it. I'm getting the metal coins. I'm in.
Ooh.
Well, that answers for
Metal
me. That means I
coin.
don't need to back it, because even though we have a couple of games that there's a couple of us in the area that we all have, this time I think I'm all right. So that saved me the trouble, because I'm going to play Don's with his fancy metal coins.
You're welcome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me by backing this game so I could play it. All right, Danny?
I need to think about it a little bit longer because, unlike you, I am the one that has all the board games, but I only have a big enough budget for so many. So I have to think about it, see if I have a budget for it. But I really, really liked it, and I'm very interested.
Well, you have to be careful, because you're going to go to the PAX, and Doug's going to show up with a bunch of extra copies, and he's going to charge you a premium.
This is true, but Doug, I thought we were friends.
Absolutely, she gets the sovereignty discount.
Yeah, the first one was free, Danny. The first one was free.
No, but
and you notice that she's talked about she talked about she has those friends as well. You know, the
I do.
board game friends that aren't really board game friends.
So we have friends who are we've moved since, like, we live in Florida. We moved from Minnesota. We have friends that come down. This is our guest room. So this is what they see when they stay at our place, and they're like, "Well, you have to teach us some games now." And yeah, so
Yeah,
I
and you
no
have to
games
have that
teach
drawer
them.
of games that you teach those friends.
The friends that are growing into board gaming and are learning different mechanics, and then we can teach them the heavier games.
Exactly. I get it. I have those friends too.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna call a quick pause because we're getting to the home stretch, so I can fill up my coffee.
Good, because I'm really hungry and I need to eat this.
So
you
get
do
your
that.
coffee, use the bathroom, all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Turn your Alexas off.
Mine died. I don't know what happened to her. She just stopped working one day.
I mean,
It's an old one.
I work for Capital One, and we are a premier AWS partner. And like, so we get every time they have like yearly gifts or gifts for, oh, you hit you've been here 5 years, we're going to give you something. They give us an Alexa. So I've got like one in every room. I've got like
They're
2 of
always
the
on
video
sale.
ones. Oh yeah. Well, Amazon throws them at us. And I mean, I'm like a certified Amazon technician. So they're like, oh yeah, hey, here, have an Alexa. And I'm like, oh, I have 2 that I haven't even opened.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, we have one upstairs, one downstairs, and then we had this one in my office just because. And then this one died, but it was our older one. But I'm so grateful that you can name them different things, because she can hear you from like anywhere. I'm like, how did you hear me? And so things would just start turning on.
That's why mine went off. Mine, the one that's here in my game room answers to computer. And so when I said Civ games, computer games or something, that's why it went off.
Gotcha.
Like, usually that's a good control. Like somebody says Alexa on TV and it doesn't go off, but every once in a while it backfires.
Yeah,
the Echo has been pretty good.
Yeah, I've got an Echo in my office, and I've got an Echo in my living room. I've got a Show in my family room, and then I've got one of the new Echo Dots in my bedroom. I've got an Echo Mobile in my car.
Oh.
And then I've got my watch has an Alexa on it as well.
And did you get one put into your shoulder?
No, I want to have it implanted. So I want to get it like right behind the ear. So
Alexa does control his shoulder now. But
exactly. Bionic
Alexa
shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alexa, make Doug back a game.
Yeah. Alexa, add that to my Kickstarter shopping cart.
I had to buy a new one the other day because I bought this fancy shade for our sliding door to the backyard that answers to Alexa, and then found out none of the ones we had home automation built in, so I had to buy a new one.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you, yeah. But now it works, and we can say, Alexa, open the shade. It's awesome.
Nice.
The only thing we're upset with her about right now is that she's connected to a light. First of all, whoever designed this place, I'm not an electrician, but I feel like this is incorrect. Okay, wherever you could go upstairs or downstairs, wherever you turn on the light, you have to turn off the light. There is 2 light switches. Like if it's on downstairs, you can turn it off upstairs, but you couldn't turn it back on downstairs. It was a disaster. So we just put a smart light in so we could tell Alexa. And she knows what it's called, but she doesn't know how to turn it on anymore. She's like, I don't recognize the stair light. I'm like, you know it's called the stair light. Like that should be like, meaning you are connected to it. You know it's there.
They must be having a fight. It's like, I don't even recognize you anymore.
I know. I was like, okay. So that's what we're currently fighting about. We've been fighting for a while on it. Haven't been able to do anything about it.
Yeah, one of we have a couple of those, and one of them just stopped working like that too. And it was we just gave up on that one. All right. Home stretch.
2 more.
Go away. And all right, so the next one is Oceans, Legend of the Deep. All right, now, and for this, you're going to disrupt the natural ecosystem of oceans with cultural mythology and fantasy. Campaign includes a solo expansion and a legendary edition. They're at, wow, $230,000, almost 4,800 backers, and there's several weeks to go when this video posts from North Star Games. Okay, Doug, tell us about how you want. Oh, look, it's very Dragon Ball. Apparently, this is Dragon Ball Z. Anyhow, tell us all about it, Doug.
So yeah, this is another one that the expansion looks really good, but I think it's the base game in the Legendary Edition that really drew me to it. So if you're not familiar with Oceans, it's a family of the Evolution. It's a standalone game that's part of the Evolution family, strictly based on ocean life. So if you like Evolution or any of those games, you'll probably like Oceans as well. It's a really similar base, just a different environment. But the game is based on building a new species. So every round you can take and you can build a new species, or you can add attributes to a current species. And each attribute allows you to do different things. It'll allow you to either do different feeding, like you can attack creatures, or you can feed off the reef. And basically you're just building, you get points from building these species. And as the species ages and becomes more populated, you will get points off of that. But you do have to feed. So like if you're a predator, you have to feed on one of the other species, which you can feed off of your own species or species of someone else. Certain ones will say, they have to be next to each other. So you have to plan out where your predators are compared to your to other folks' predators and so forth. So the Legends does add like different legendary cards and mythological cards, which are all great. They just add different abilities and traits that you can use. You can only have one legendary card at a time, but they'll either give you an ability that's not normally in the game, or they will change the entire ecosystem. So they'll have something that will affect all players. But again, I think it's an okay expansion. The Legendary Edition, however, it has both built in, and they've added custom game tray inserts, which I'm a huge fan of game trays. I think their inserts do wonderful. They're easy to set up. They're easy to put away. So if you're new to the game, I think this is a great jump off point. The entire Legendary Edition is only $85. You get the base game, you get the expansion plus the game trays. If you have the game, you can also buy an upgrade. So if you have the core game, you can get the Legendary upgrade, which is only $45. And it comes with the expansion and the game trays in the new box. And again, I think this is a really fun game. I like how you have the feeding phases, and you have to watch your population because you can only feed one animal species every round. So you have to balance, how many species do I have? What am I feeding them? Am I feeding off of other species? So I have to make sure I've got enough. And if your population can go extinct. So if you get to the point where they're aging, you lose a certain number of population. If you go below 0, your species dies out and becomes extinct. If it becomes overpopulated, you lose all but 5 of your feeding tokens. So it's a really solid balance of keeping the ecosystem going. And it's still one of those games that's not difficult to learn. There's not a whole lot of things you have to know to play it, but it's a lot of strategy built in. And yeah, I really enjoy the Evolution game series. This is one that I had not gotten yet. And as soon as I saw that they had the all in for the full game set with the game trays, I backed it.
I almost feel like games could only have one version and nothing. If they just called it all in, Doug would be there. Like they're just a core game, all in. Ooh.
Hey, if it's everything, then it's everything.
That's right. So I have played, and actually I reviewed Evolution on the app, which it's a fun game. I enjoy it, and everything I've heard is Oceans is better than Evolution, is what I've been told. However, it's not one that my wife will be interested in playing with me, because if I eat her critter, she's gonna be mad.
And not just during the game,
Yes.
for the next week.
No, she's not like that. But she'll be mad in the game, and it won't be fun. Because it's just not that kind of messing with someone else's plan. It just bugs her. So it's not gonna get played in my house. It's not gonna happen. Though
Well, you can choose where the species go, so you can only feed on your own species if you want.
Yeah, I could do that.
And make your wife happy.
It doesn't sound like he will do it.
Well, there's times when you're like, I'd like to win, So it might just be that eating Doug's legendary crocodile critter is what needs to happen. We've all been there. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. All right, I think Danny, you're first this time.
Yes. Okay. So I have never played Oceans before, or any in the series, but from what I've found, it's apparently a good 2-player game, which usually it's just my husband and I playing, so that's great. And to speak on the expansion, I think it's really interesting how they took it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, just sea life, and then they added all the mythology to it. I don't know, I find that really interesting and clever in a way. Like, it's a totally different theme, but still really connects to the original one. I think it would add a lot, in my opinion. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Don.
Yeah, so I do have this game. I backed the original campaign. We're big fans of Evolution here. We have Evolution Climate.
His children are evolving. They're big fans of that.
Exactly. Evolution Climate is one of the early games that we got into. We learned it at a convention and immediately tracked down a copy, and it's a game we've played at Thanksgiving, that sort of thing. So really enjoy the series, like Doug. And Oceans is a gorgeous, gorgeous game. The art is amazing. Got the deluxe edition and the first Kickstarter. The little acrylic fish are very tactile and fun to play with. So I really like it. My first reaction was this game is complete. It doesn't need an expansion. And we haven't played it so much that we've played the original game out. So I went into this a little tentatively. I do really like the mythology bent to it, and the expansion is, I think, just adding 24
Wow,
cards
Doug,
to
they
the
just
game.
told you you're wrong on that expansion. There's you wrong, Doug. You wrong. Sorry,
I just
Doug.
said I liked it.
He's lukewarm on it, and you're like, no, that's really cool.
I like the mythology thing. It's
I
interesting.
do too. It made me curious about it.
Yeah.
But then I remembered I don't want to have my wife mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good priority right there.
it's a good idea.
So I'm intrigued by it. I don't think I need a solo expansion. This isn't a game I imagine playing solo. And I'm not sure about the Legendary Edition. I need to dig a little more to see what it adds. But the game feels complete. I am intrigued by the expansion, but that's kind of where I am.
All right, final verdict, Danny.
I won't be backing this, but we can add it to my need to play at conventions list.
All right, Doug, you got
You
another one
all
you're bringing.
talk so highly of this series.
Doug's gonna be bringing a lot of games to PAX.
Yes. Doug, are you making a list?
Well, this will be PAX next year, more than likely.
But
Although some of the base ones, some of the base
Like
ones I
Ocean.
can bring.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope you're just driving a
Definitely.
U-Haul. All right, Don, what's your verdict?
I'm at Remind Me on this one. If I back it, it would probably just be for the expansion, that $21 level. I don't really need a bigger box for this game.
Does the expansion fit in the original box?
I would expect so. It's only 24 cards.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, the big thing about the Legendary Edition is just the game trays. Easier setup, easier put away. Again, I'm I'm in love with game trays. Everything they make is just does a wonderful job for it. It makes every game feel a little bit easier to set up and get to the table.
Yeah, Don makes his own fancy 3D printed inserts.
That's when the publisher makes the mistake of not going to game trays for their inserts.
Exactly.
So
I have game tray games and 3D printed games.
Okay. I've never explored game tray. Do they have like their own like can you just buy like the inserts for games, or do they only come with the game? That's how they work.
They just
did
come
some
with
of
the
that.
game,
They
I
did
think.
some of that early on. They used to have aftermarket inserts, but I think they mostly just work with publishers now. When you get
'cause too many people
Flamecraft, you'll see
want
what
them,
they are like.
Oh, I have some, and
Okay.
I really enjoy
Oh
them.
yeah, Danny, do you have Flamecraft?
No, not yet. It's on its way.
Raise your hand if you have Flamecraft.
Put your hands down.
Wow. Doug even raised his broken arm.
I know. I remembered that when I got it about this far up. I was like, oh, I probably should raise this one.
Just really wanted to rub it in my face.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm excited to get it. But no, I have seen them in games before, and they're great. I'm all for the organization. So I was curious. I've
That
never
shelf right
explored
there.
their
There
website
it
or
is.
anything. Oh,
But yeah, I will tell you, they just did do their first board game ever.
Yep.
Forbidden.
I looked at it. It was
What's it
real
called?
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
I ran away from it. It actually looked. I can't remember what it was called. And, had it been like a fantasy theme, I probably would have been like, well, I guess I have to. But it was kind of that. If correct me if I'm wrong, it was a apocalyptic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a kind of a sandbox apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Type
Yeah.
game.
So
And I'm sorry,
that
it's
that
called
was my out.
Forsaken.
Yeah. Oh, Forsaken. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Apocalyptic
Forbidden,
stuff.
Forsaken.
Meh. If someone comes with like an interesting apocalypse, like the kittens take over. Okay. I'd be interested in saying, okay, what are we doing here? What's going on? But usually I'm like, zombie apocalypse, I'm right out. But
Oh, that's my favorite. But yeah, they definitely went overboard with the game trays on their own one in a good way. I mean, the player boards are game trays, and the storage boards are game trays.
Ooh.
The token
Well, I
boards
feel
are
like you
game
have
trays,
to.
and it's
Like, if
yeah.
that's what you
I
do,
mean,
you gotta.
again,
wouldn't that be
in a good
amazing
way.
if Game Trays made a game that had no game trays? It was just a box. Like
Ooh.
that should have been an option. That'd been so deep. That's such a deep cut. That's amazing. I love it. All right, but here we are coming into our last one, and our last one is we're a little far down. Oh yes, the Castles of Mad King Ludwig renovations and second edition, a brand new expansion plus the second edition of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and they're at close to $150,000, a bit over 3,000 backers. It'll be about 3 weeks to go when this actually comes out. And tell us all about it, Doug.
Yeah, so hopefully most everyone that at least plays board games has heard of Castles of Mad King Ludwig. It's a great tile laying game. It is basically you start out with a foyer, and the king has commissioned everyone to build the fanciest castle that you can build. And every round, there's one person that, instead of being the first player, is a master builder. They decide out of the rooms that are drawn which rooms will cost what, so they can rearrange and up the price or lower the price in an attempt to gain money, because that's how you make your money, is when you're a master builder. And then you take those rooms and you add them to your castle, and each room gets bonuses according to the rooms it connects to. This is a game that I love, and they just did a second edition, which is shipping and fulfilling. Most all of them should have fulfilled. They are now hitting retail. And the second edition fills one of the complaints I had about the game, is the art was a little dated. And it was a little kind of dark and blah and hard to see. And the new collector's edition, the second edition is what they're calling it, the art is just completely redone, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the second complaint I always had about it is I'd be like squinting and trying to see what the rooms have, written on them and what the bonuses are. And they did a colossal edition. So it's basically, I think it's 50% larger than the regular edition, so everyone can see everything that's on the rooms, and it does take up quite a bit of space for a table. But what they did was you could get the regular and the colossal, so you could play either one. And the art is the same on both of them. They did several different new expansions. This is the next expansion. This particular expansion is called Renovations. And what it does is it adds a whole new unique ability to Castles of Mad King Ludwig, where you can actually renovate rooms that you've already built. And these rooms are double rooms, so there will actually be two different bonuses that you can meet the criteria for. And they literally go right on top of the room that you've built. So they're the same shapes. The only difference is the entrances and exits are the same. So they fill the center of each tile. And another thing that they do have, if you don't have this one as part of the campaign, you can get the second edition. It's called a second edition bundle. And basically it is one box for the second edition collector's edition and one box for every expansion that they've ever made. So you can basically go all in. It's $110, which to me, for it's like 6 or 7 expansions plus the base game, is pretty darn good, and it's stored in 2 boxes. Now, if you don't have any of it and you want to get in on it, they are now taking orders and fulfilling immediately for both the second edition and the colossal edition. And if you get the all-in for those, if you want to see what they look like, they're right there.
Oh, that's what the other one is. That's
yes,
a lot of
so
that's a lot of castling there, Doug.
That is the collector's edition and the colossal collector's edition. So you can get those as a bundle on their website.
Wait, so you didn't get it through the Kickstarter? As I said, I was like, wow, they're fulfilling during the Kickstarter. That's crazy.
No, that Kickstarter was about a year and a half ago. So yeah, and it has fulfilled.
Who are we back to Don first?
Yes.
All right.
I think so.
So I'm tempted by this one. This one's a modern classic, obviously, as Doug said. I've only ever played it once at a convention and never sought it out to buy it. It's a really fun game. It's got a really clever auction mechanic. It's kind of a spin on I Split You Choose, because the master builder decides which buildings cost how much, and you're trying to tempt people to buy buildings because you get the money when they buy them, but you don't want them to get the really good buildings, so you make those really expensive. Just the mechanics of it are really fun. If I were going in on this, it would be for the all-in bundle just to get everything, and so that's my biggest hesitation. But I like the look of the new art. It was years ago that I played it, so I don't remember whether the art was disappointing or not at the time, but it looks really great, and Bezier does a great job with production quality, and they've gotten very good at including game trays, and we've just been singing their praises, so I like it.
Danny?
Okay, so this is another one to add to the list to bring Doug. Haven't played this one.
Why
but
are you
I've heard
picking
so
only the
many
huge
things about
boxes?
It's just what Doug picked a list.
That's true. That's true. I was just victim blaming there. That's true. Doug, what's wrong with you? All right, go ahead.
But it's a tile placement game, so I'm on board for that. The expansion looks really interesting, how you basically just change what you have. And from what I gathered, it's all like an improvement, you're not just changing the room, you're actually making it better. And I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was creative because, I don't know, I get a lot of social media things sent to me of like renovations and redoing. So I don't know, like a DIY project for your castle.
Oh, that'd be a great mini expansion. You also have the DIY one where it's like kind of crappy, but it kind of works.
You still get more points for it, but not as much as you do like a full renovation.
And it takes like 7 turns instead of 1. you know.
Yes, because you have to learn how to do it first. But no, I think it sounds great, and I'd love to play this game. I just have never played it before. So
Yeah, this is one that, you know, they've done as a modern classic. I've just never cared. I just can't get myself into caring. Um, the way Doug described it, it sounded far more interesting. I was like, oh, that kind of fun. So I'm hoping Don backs this. I'm not hitting remind me. I'm not doing anything to it, but I'm hoping Don has it, and so I can come try it and be. Hopefully, I'll be like, yeah, I did that. And just be done. Yeah, it seems cool. I just can't make myself care about building the dumb castle.
I thought the exact same thing until someone brought it to a meetup, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'll play it. And I was like, I really enjoy this game. I mean, there was so much. I don't know. It was just fun being able to say, hey, this is my third entertainment. That gives me another bonus to my living area. And now I'm building a dungeon that gives me another bonus to my
Whoa. We don't need to know about your dungeon and your bonus to your living area.
Hey, there's great dungeons in the game.
Yeah, I like if I could do something with the castle, like if I build the castle and then I get to defend the castle from the orcs or something, yes, I'm there. I had the same thing with role player, and I talked about this. My like, I was like, okay, I made this character. Okay, I'll put it in the box now. So I was very excited that like role player adventure. Now I get to actually do something with the character. That really made it pay off for me. So Bezier, make some kind of dungeon crawl where I get to use my castle, and then I'm in.
Oh, that's a clever
anything
idea.
dungeon crawl, Will is on board for.
Boy, let me tell you,
that
it's
is true.
tough. It's very hard for me. I have to. Well, you know, on a tangent. I'm not going to say the name of the company or the game, but a company had sent me one, wanted me to cover it, and the mechanics sounded relatively unique. And they said we put all this money into this artist, and you know this famous artist where we are over in Europe. And I was looking at the art, and it looked good. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was the fox lady in the thong, Don. Remember I sent you guys out. I was like, I'm out. I'm just out. And so, but they had me at first at dungeon crawls. Okay, I'm interested. I was like, I feel uncomfortable with this. And so I actually reached back out and I told him, you know, I'm not. Have you watched my stuff? I'm not sure I'm the guy for this. I'm not sure. And they responded, so, you know, you're right. We need to work on these things. So we're going to add these bonus characters into the game from the start. And like, I'm like, oh, so more fox ladies and thongs. That's not really where I want to be. So anyhow, will not be appearing on my channel. So, but Danny and Doug, if you'd like, I'm happy to send you images of the art if you're curious. But anyhow, yes, anything dungeon crawler, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say? Did you think you're good?
I'm okay.
I'm good. Yeah.
You're not
No
missing
fox
anything.
thongs needed.
No. It's not a fox thong. It's a fox lady in a thong.
In a thong.
Yeah,
Okay, you got to get this
definitely
right. Like the
no
thong's
for
just a
me.
normal thong.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyhow, Danny and
Anyway.
Doug, are you in?
So I might remind me on this one. There's a good chance I may just try to track down the base game second edition, and I don't know that I need all the expansions. I backed the Suburbia campaign a few years ago where they did the big cube-shaped box that's like the size of a Calyx cube.
How many times have you played it, Don?
A couple.
Oh, you have?
A couple times, yeah. But, you know, never with all the expansion stuff. It has like every Suburbia expansion ever in that box, and it's just too much. So given that I have never owned this game, I might just track down a copy of the base game. But for now, I might remind me on the campaign.
All right. So, and I assume, Doug, you've backed everything new also?
I mean, I've got the expansion because, like I said, the rest of it is sitting right there. So,
You know, is the expansion going to fit in there? Or
no,
do you have to get
it
a new
won't.
box?
It is a new box because if you get the renovations, there's two different versions of the expansion. There's the second edition, which is just regular, and then there's the second edition and the colossal. So they have their own box. So it's a third box with just those those 2 expansions, basically the regular and the colossal.
That's a lot of box.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there we go. So we've reached the end as usual. We've made no amazing revelations here, but we actually backed a couple, so that's something.
Yay!
That's huge. So before we sign off, just anybody got any gaming excitement coming up this weekend? Next couple days? What do you got coming up, Doug?
So my excitement was probably this morning. I was actually on the Game Shorts live stream for their Extra Life charity raising event. So that was a wonderful time. We actually played Planet Unknown on Sovereignty. Danny showed up, and that was one of the folks that they picked to help support for the Extra Life charity. So yay. And the Game Short guys are wonderful, Scott and Ryan. So that was probably my big excitement, other than getting to film with you guys, which was also very exciting. So great weekend for me. Then I'm probably going to relax and ice my shoulder because I don't have my sling on.
All right, Danny, how about you?
I'm hoping to play some board games tomorrow. My husband and I like to go to a kombucha place, and it's like a small local place. It also has coffee and like a coffee shop feel. So we always like to go on Sundays and play a board game or 2. So that will be my next small gaming thing, playing board games. My next big thing that I've been working on a lot at work and then looking forward to is PAX Unplugged in December. So if you're also going, you should stop by the Sovereignty booth and say hi.
Well, do you know what you're going to play tomorrow?
No. If you have any suggestions, that would be great.
Backyard chickens.
All right.
Flamecraft. Oh,
I was going to say Flamecraft.
Oh,
too
wait.
soon? Too soon? All right, so
I will once it gets here. I'm so excited.
I'm going to jump in before Don here so he can't steal my thunder. 2 things I'm particularly excited about. One, I have a Kickstarter, or it's a game found that should be delivering any minute. The Lands of Galzir, which is this completely open world adventure game that's more about exploration than it is about like fighting. And you're anthropomorphic animals, which since I got old, I'm all about anthropomorphic animals. I don't know what it is, but man, if that fox is talking, I'm in. Like, don't know what it is, but so cool game, neat story. Got a fun little like dice mechanic thing to it of how you do your tests, and so just very excited to actually get that. But what I'm most excited about is I'm actually going up to Don's tomorrow to play another game or 2 of Revive, which was one of the big hot games at Essen. And Corey Thompson from Dice Tower Now was kind enough to schlep a copy back for me. So we've played it once. It's not. I imagine you'll be able to play it at PAX. I'm sure that they'll have some kind of presence there. But this cool multi-use cards, setting up the world. We did something horrible to it, and you're now coming out from underground to kind of rebuild the world, revive the world. And it's. Don and I, we played it once, and I really liked the first game. And it has this 5-game mini campaign that you get to do, and as you just add more mechanics as you go through. So super excited to play that. That's my weekend excitement. Don, now that I stole your thunder.
Yeah, Will's coming to my house tomorrow, if you haven't heard.
Now you have to say that you're excited about it.
Right? Now I have it
So
recorded.
And
well,
another friend is
we
almost
got
certainly
Bernie
coming.
from Dead Alive Games coming too. Maybe.
Bernie's coming too.
Oh, okay.
And we are almost certainly we're gonna play Revive, but also Hangtown by Johnny Pack, designer of Coloma and many other things.
If you move your head to the right, Don, we can see Coloma.
To the right. Am I right or you're right?
Or
Either
down.
way.
You can
Oh,
move
it's
down,
behind me.
whatever.
Right.
Out of the
Coloma.
way.
There's Coloma. So, yeah, we're both big Johnny Pack fans, and we're friends of Johnny. And Hangtown is a game that he self-published years and years ago. It's long out of print, and Will has not played it. And since he's such a big fan, I feel like he should play it. It's kind of the precursor to Coloma. Coloma is kind of the shinier version of Hangtown.
And from what I'm told, it's a heavier version, is what I'm told.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't played it in a few years, so I need to review the rule book tonight, but I'm excited to play that again.
All right. Well, thank you guys as always for being here. Everybody, thank you for watching. Leave down in the comments if we tempted you into backing anything or to drop your pledge from anything. Oh, wouldn't that be tragic? Would you be like, I dropped
That's
my
not
pledge
our
because
goal.
of this. And also feel free to reach out to anybody if there's games that are coming up. Like, oh, can you cover this? You know, we only do this every month or so, but maybe it'll work out. As always, Doug, thanks for a far more scientific picking process than I do. And Danny and Don, your expertise is always appreciated. Everybody, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share, do that thing. Check out the membership program. Make sure you check out my digital overlords sovereignty. There's a free 60-day code down in the description. Oh, right. I even got
This is the only sovereignty thing I have.
There we go. I got the
Right here.
lovely
Sovereignty.
Lego dude that they made me right there. You don't get the Lego dude on the digital platform. You got to be really nice to Danny to get one of those. Or maybe Jason.
I don't know. It might have been just a one-time thing. We'll see.
Well, good. I'm glad I got one. Yeah, that's right, Doug. Feel bad. Feel bad. You don't have one.
Sorry,
You better bring all those games to PAX.
I think I've got a bargaining
We
chip
gave
now.
Doug a t-shirt.
Oh, you got a t-shirt. I don't have a
I
t-shirt.
know it's not a Lego piece. Sorry.
All right. But anyhow, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, share, check out Sovereignty, check out the membership program, blah, blah, blah. Do all those things. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I only have 26 more weeks of my class on Tuesdays.
Only 26 more weeks? Wow.
It's
Just
terrible.
crushing it.
How many did you start with?
30.
Oh,
Ooh, so you're fresh into it.
Yeah, but it's really easy. There's no homework, no papers, no tests.
you just have to go.
Yep, just go. You can even do it online, but it's way better if you go. So.
Heck, I've got 12 more weeks of physical therapy, so I guess that's probably just as bad.
Well, that's less than my 24. So.
Yes.
I mean, do they give you wine and desserts when you go to your physical therapy?
No, that would make
They
it
give
much
you
better.
wine and desserts when you go to this class. Is that why it's better to go in person?
Hey, everybody! Gretchen made this chocolate torte. I was like, how dare you? Take your gender norms out of here. I made that. Give me the credit because it is better than everything on this table. And then the rest of it, he's like, everybody gotta try Will's torte, chocolate almond torte, chocolate almond torte. And later he got one. He was like, wow, that's really good. I guess I shouldn't have been making fun of you. That's really good.
That's probably oversimplifying it.
It is. It is.
Probably.
Embarrassing. It's like, calling a chicken a moving sandwich.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Doug's undiagnosed Kickstarter problem, shall we?
Oh, I think it's diagnosed.
All right.
Untreated?
Untreated, yeah. I
He
don't
chose
have a
to treat the
spouse to rein me
shoulder
in.
and the stomach, and he left that one untreated. It's irresponsible.
One problem at a time.
I love how reluctant Don is to wave. Everyone's like, bye. Don's like,
Do I have to?
I was trying to be still so you had a good ending.
I just started moving.